Managing change. So there are two different categories of change management. One is internal change and second is external change. So internal change refers to changes within the program, and external changes refers to the need to adapt the organization to be able to exploit the benefits created by the program. So these are two kind of changes. Change is something which which is sort of which is not as per plan. With that change, what you do, you see the effect and impact of this change on your project, program. You see what changes this change will bring in: scope, time, cost, risk. You create a detailed plan, you create a detailed study, and then you submit it to the CCB, Change Control Board, for approval. And that's how you manage these changes. So the changes are of two types here. Internal changes refers to the changes within the program. External change refers to the need to adapt the organization to be able to exploit the benefits created by the program. Issues related to change are addressed differently within the programs and projects. Projects deal with changes in terms of scope, time, cost, and quality. Programs, managing change within a program requires strategic insight and understanding of the program objective and intended benefits. Here, you need to change the direction of a component, cancel a component, or start a new component. Project change within a project affects the defined deliverables at the tactical level. Change of a project is generally local to the project and related to the tactical level. While program, the change within a program affects the delivery of intended benefits at the strategic level. Why? Because you are doing program at a high level and you are doing program at a high level and program has multiple projects under it. So therefore, the changes at a program level will bring strategic level changes. So changes to any component within a program may have a direct impact on the delivery of the other related components, which necessitates a change in those specific components. Change to any component within a program may have a direct impact on the delivery of the other related components, which necessitates a change in those specific components. In programs, change management is a key activity. You need to carefully analyze the need for proposed changes, the impact of change, and the approach or process for implementing and communicating change. You need to remember, in both programs and projects, there should be a rationale that justifies that the advantages originating from a proposed change will outweigh potential drawbacks. Now, change management in projects. In projects, change management helps the project manager, team, and stakeholders to monitor and control the amount of variance from the planned cost and schedule. As I said, you do a detailed analysis of what this change will bring in your cost, scope, time, and cost. And if a change is required that impacts the scope, cost, schedule, quality, or expected results, then a project change request is developed to modify the scope. And this, once you have a detailed analysis, you give it to CCB. They approve or reject. If they approve, you will implement that change, implement and we'll change the scope, time, cost. If not, you simply discard it and you keep it in the lessons learned. Change management in projects. In projects, change management helps the project manager, team, and stakeholders to monitor and control the amount of variance from the planned cost and schedule that we have just discussed. If a change is required that impacts the scope, cost, schedule, quality, or expected results, then a project change request is developed to modify the scope, schedule, cost, or intended output. Once the project change request is completed and accepted, change management ensures the project remains aligned with the new baseline. So if you recall from the discussion that we had in project management studies, let me change the color. So baselines are those that you have to follow or you have committed. Baselines are those that you have committed to sponsors and senior stakeholders. So once you implement the approved change via change control board, it is applied. Then what you do, you revise the baselines. You revise baselines of scope, time, and cost. If a change is required that impacts the scope, cost, schedule, quality, or expected results, then a project change request is developed to modify the scope, schedule, cost, or intended output of the project. Once the project change request is completed and accepted, change management ensures the project remains aligned with the new baseline. Change management in projects. Projects also use change management to manage the impact of variance caused by known risk and what triggered. So risks are of anything which can affect your project positively and negatively is risk. Risk are of 4 types: for known problem, known solution, right? Known problem, unknown solution, unknown problem, unknown solution, and known solution and unknown problem. So while known problem and known solution is, you are already aware of the problem and you are already aware of the solution, so you must implement this. Known problem and unknown solution, this is something you know the problem but you do not know the solution. Please find a solution and implement. Find solution, keep yourself ready. Then comes unknown problem and unknown solution. These are exceptional cases like COVID-19, war, government destability. So these are these. And unknown problem and known solution are those things which you have assumed that, you assume that Earth will remain in existence. You assume that there will be no warlike situations. You assume that banks will not go away or will not collapse, something of that sort. So these are, that's how you manage risk. And the change management projects, your job is to manage changes in a way that it does not affect your scope, time, and cost variably. If it does, it has to go through proper change control board and manage risks in advance, anticipate and manage it in advance. Because if you do not manage risk in advance and if you do not manage it well, they will also come as a change and may affect your project positively or negatively, majorly negatively. Managing change management in programs. Change management at the program level is done in a fundamentally different way. Program managers depend on a predetermined, consistent level of performance from the components of the program. Program managers expect the component projects to be delivered on time, on budget, within scope, and with an acceptable level of quality. Managing change again. Program managers require that other programs and program activities should be performed in a manner that will contribute positively to the program's outcome and anticipated benefits or reduce the negative outcome. Program manager may create new components or cancel existing components to ensure the optimal delivery of benefits. There may be a scenario where some of the program components are delivered but produce entirely unexpected results, which results may or may not contribute positively to the intended benefits of the program. And the last is the program manager may redirect, replan, or stop individual efforts entirely, knowing they will not help achieve the desired program benefits if left unattended in the context of the evolving environment. The program's inherent uncertainty. The program manager may group individual components into other programs to manage them more effectively. Obviously, they can do it, managing the components together. And the program manager uses change management at the program level to redirect and modify the roadmap of the program to ensure it aligns with the expected benefits to be delivered, the new strategy, the social, regulatory, or economic state, or the perceptions of the program beneficiaries. Programs use change management in a forward-looking, proactive manner to adapt to the evolving environment. And program change management is an iterative process repeated frequently during the performance of a program to ensure the program delivers the benefits planned at the start of the program. So these are the things that has to be managed at a change in program level. Conclusion: projects employ change and change management to constrain or control the impact of variability on their baselines. Programs proactively use change management to keep the program components and intended benefits aligned with changes in organizational strategy and changes in the environment in which they are performed. Complexity: both programs and projects have complexity. The sources of complexity comes from human behavior, system behavior, and ambiguity. So let us now see the factors leading to program and project complexity. What are they? Governance complexity, changes in government policies. Stakeholder complexity. Stakeholders are humans. They can affect the project or program deliverables positively or negatively. And we discussed last, cooperation threat graph, power interest graph, and stuff like that. PI graph, cooperation threat graph, salience model. Definition complexity, benefits delivery complexity, interdependency extremely important, resource, scope, change, risk. So these are the major things through which complexity comes. Governance complexity. Governance complexity results from the sponsor support for the program, the support of the related components, sponsor, management structures, number of organizations involved, and the decision-making processes within the program. Let's discuss stakeholder complexity. Stakeholder complexity arises from the differences in the needs and influence of stakeholders. As I said, they are humans. Humans change, which may be a burden to the program or in conflict with the benefits of the program. It may so happen that your benefits, let's say you are coming up with automation project. So perhaps the team who is working on this project from last 5 years may think that this automation project is negative for their career, so they will not support. In that case, they become negative stakeholders. So you need to manage these stakeholders in this way. Stakeholder complexity also focuses on the program team itself and the diversity within the program team. Stakeholder complexity is also associated with the number of stakeholders interested in the program. And what is the definition of complexity? Programs bring about change, and definition complexity focuses on the agreement of the future state by stakeholders. Other aspects that the program manager should be aware of include benefits management and the potential competing interest of stakeholders. Benefits delivery complexity. Benefits delivery complexity focuses on benefits management, which is big area of efforts for the program's manager as well as the program sponsor. Interdependency complexity. It's a big headache. A program focuses on the interdependencies among components, not necessarily on issues within individual projects, to ensure that the overall outcome of the program delivers the intended benefits. Interdependencies among components and other business entities should be clearly defined. Interdependencies can also occur outside the program. What are they? Dependencies on the other projects or programs, and dependencies external to the organization. Interdependencies are directly related to the complexity of the program. Then you have resource complexity. The availability of resources at the required level of capability and capacity, adequate funding, and suitable supplies and materials add to the complexity of the program. And these resource concerns need to be addressed within the program. What is scope complexity? Scope complexity arises from the difficulty to clearly define the deliverables and benefits of a program and its components. Managing the delivery of the associated benefits beyond the lifespan of the program's components contributes to scope complexity. Change complexity. Change complexity arises from the different levels of impact that change potentially can cause in an organization. Change complexity is low when a program changes the basic operational processes model in one or two departments, but can be extremely complex when a program transforms an organization from a functional to a projectized. So what is a functional organization? Functional organization is the one where the functional managers have more power. Projectized organization is the one where project managers have more power. Okay. Risk complexity. Risk complexity arises from the high level of uncertainty due to the extended program lifecycle and the uncertainty of the components' outcome and their interdependencies. Complexity, project complexity factors. A project can be complex because of the uniqueness, It can also be due to the need for the kind of thinking, action, and knowledge needed in order to solve a problem or complete a task. Organizational complexity and dynamic complexity. This uniqueness creates uncertainty with regard to time and costing estimates, as well as the specifications needed to deliver the desired project output and outcomes. Project complexity can be classified as organizational or dynamic complexity. Again, organizational complexity, if you see, organizational complexity focuses on the organizational structure as well as number of organizational units. It also addresses the number and types of elements and their relationship in the organization. Dynamic complexity focuses on the project's behavior and how it changes over time. Change is inevitable. Whatever you planned need to be revised with evolving project and situations. That is very important. Change is inevitable. However, you need to do a calculation. Do a calculative change through proper approvals. So with that, we reached to the closure of the discussion points of majorly discussion points of the program management, and I will keep on adding few more things. So as and when time comes, let's do some questions in another section. Thank you.